Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining the webinar today. Let's get started. So just to introduce myself first, I'm Mark Murphy. I'll be the moderator for today's panelists and the webinar overall. I actually made a LinkedIn post yesterday saying that I'll be mediating today's webinar, which is the wrong word. I am moderator for today. So I'm going to let the panelists introduce themselves. So Tracey, if you want to go first.
Hi everyone, my name is Tracey Smith and I am the Digital Marketing Manager here at Foxford.
And hi everyone, I'm Alan Gormley, I'm CEO of Shopbox.
Excellent, excellent. So let's get started. Tracey, can you give us a bit of background about your experience and how did you get into your current role with Foxford?
Yeah, I'm with Foxford now 4.5 years. I started off with them in 2018 as the social media manager and progressed to where I am now, the digital marketing manager. Before that, I was predominantly marketing, digital marketing, that's my background. I did a master's in marketing in LYIT, as it was known back then, a good few years ago. And yeah, it's just something that I've kind of had a grow for, marketing and advertising.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, it's something actually that came up in the case study that we recently did with you. And guys, if you're watching this right now, there's a link to the PDF of the case study that we did with Foxford and Shopbox. Was the sheer number of years that Foxford has been in business. I think it's over 130. Is that right?
Yes, we celebrated 130 years last May. It's a phenomenal brand story. That, you know, it's evolved throughout the years. The values have never changed, but it all basically started with a nun, Mother Agnes. She founded Foxford to help the poverty that was around the area in the village of Foxford by providing employment and giving them a skill, really, as such. And that was the foundation of the Foxford Woollen Mills.
Wow, that's some story. So can I ask then, my next question would be, what led then Foxford to discover Shopbox AI?
I guess we have the product, we have the customer service, we have the values, we have everything in line with our branding. And when I heard Alan speak at a retail excellence event last year, it just kind of opened up a lot of areas where we were maybe feeling some pain points. So that was the personalization in the digital front. So if you come into any of our stores, you'll be greeted by, you know, the best quality retail team that you'll ever find. And to a point, we were reaching that in our digital touch points with our customer service and our social media, but it was just lacking that extra push in personalization and in a personal shopper for our online customers.
Yeah, so coming out of the pandemic then, what has changed most for you from a business perspective? I know it's always on people's minds, the pandemic. Now we're coming out of it now. So at the time, it was everyone going online. So what have you noticed yourself coming out?
People are a lot more savvy. There was a lot of panic at the very start of the COVID, you know, and people were buying for the sake of buying. And I think they became a lot more tech savvy regarding what they buy, how they buy, and who they buy from. And it's really important when we come out the other side and things are starting to clear or have cleared, is to recognize what our customers want and recognize their values and to align them with our values. And what we've done there is to improve our personalization, like we've done with implementing Shopbox, improve the sleekness of the website, which will be happening very, very, very soon. Improve our customer service, and just to give added value to customers in some way, shape, or form, and just, you know, allowing that longevity of the customer value rather than, you know, selling to everyone and everything. It's just a small cohort of really valuable customers.
Yeah. So, and are you seeing any sort of changes then in customer behavior as well as we come out? Like, I mean, specifically around the brick and mortar business, maybe there's a focus there, or have you noticed any type of shift?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you will hear when they come into the shop that they've been online or they've been on social media. They've touched all, you know, it's omni-channel now, and customers are well aware of that. Definitely. They want to feel the same brand experience at every single touch point that they're at. And one of the hardest ways to do that digitally, it is very hard to do that digitally, should I say.
Yeah.
So that's been our strategy over the past while, is aligning the digital touch points to make sure that they're getting the Foxford that they see when they come to Foxford, Westport, or in Arnott's on foxford.com.
Yeah, I definitely see that in your images. I think we might talk about that a bit later, but definitely get a sense of that on your website. The kind of, you can almost feel the lamb's wool when you see the images and stuff like this.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we actually we've begun, and we've kind of, we're in the middle of creating a lovely kind of new suite of imagery to complement the design and the texture, and that herringbone cashmere throw that, you know, you can almost see, feel, touch it. And that's really important. That's as close as, you know, I don't know, touch and feel as you get for digital, I think. Yeah.
You're right. You probably heard in the news today, I just heard there, the 0.5% interest rate hike. So, you know, a lot of talk about consumer confidence dipping as of late. Is there any kind of insights you can lend to the viewers here today of how you would combat that or look to input on your side?
What we have been doing, as I mentioned before, is just adding that little bit of value to the customer's journey. We are a very considered purchase. We align our values in regards with consumption. So we know that people, you know, there is worry now with regards to people's finances, and we know this. We're not pushing products on them. We're not pushing discount. That's not who we are, what we're doing. One thing we will be looking at is definitely a pricing structure, because that's just the way it has to be over the next while. And along with that is new product innovation, always kind of thinking ahead of what the customer needs rather than, you know, trying to sell the product itself. Yeah.
Yep. Excellent. Alan, this one's for you. So how does Shopbox AI differ from other AI solutions on the market?
Yeah, I think actually, I'm just going to go back to something Tracey said there, which I thought was really, just the way you phrased it was really interesting, is that you said at the very start, what was it? You said, we've got the product, we've got the service. So you kind of stacked up all the different things that it goes, that is part of making a customer experience. And I guess the thing we always saw was that the store itself was the most difficult thing to work with online. Everything else, you can target customers very effectively. You can figure out how to target customers. Once they've decided to buy something, you can put it in a beautiful box. You can make sure that you're working with the best couriers to get it there, and it's safe, and that experience is good. But that bit in the middle is very difficult to differentiate, and people have kind of got used to it not being differentiated. They kind of go, Amazon completely different, everybody else kind of the same. And I guess the whole focus for us in Shopbox is, how do we make that personal? And not a load of carousels, but how do we make it? I was like the feeling of wrap the store around the customer. You know, you've got your service, you've got all these products, now put the customer at the center of it. And I know myself from going into Foxford, like as you walk through the store, it's an experience. It's a lifestyle brand, and our lifestyle retailer. So you want to feel that. You want to feel that it's about you. I think that's, a lot of people talk about that. I think the one thing that we really try and differentiate is, just say a customer walks through for the first time. That's your chance to do something really interesting. And that's the thing we really saw was lacking in online retail, is online retailers tend to have systems that catch up with you after you've bought the first product or when you've got it in the cart. But actually, it's too late. You know, 95% of your people will never put something in the cart unless you start treating them differently. So I think that for me is really important. And the other thing, actually, that's something I was thinking about. You mentioned, Tracey, around economically things are changing. We all know that. But it's on the outside. Let's not worry about the bad times. And when you talk about, you know, it's about product innovation and finding new products that are interesting to customers right now, and price changes and things like that. This is one of the problems we saw in the market is, as prices change, the behavior of a product changes. So suddenly it's interesting for somebody that it wasn't interesting for yesterday, because they're always after a bargain, or they're always after the latest thing or whatever. And being able to react to the changes that the merchandisers need to make in product, we saw that it really wasn't happening. So I've seen examples where, you know, €3 products are being put beside €30 products. which is not a good experience for a customer. So if you're going to reduce the product, make sure it's finding the right customers. And that's an area we've really concentrated on, is even before we've gathered data on the product and the changes that we put in the product, we got to find customers for them straight away. Because that's the trick. Otherwise, all we're doing is constantly trying to find new products because we're not just getting them in front of the right customer.
Exactly. So there's something you touched on as well, Tracey. You said that you're trying to make it a little more sleek, a little bit more, you're streamlined, maybe that's the word you used for the website. And that's part of the picture here where you're moving to another platform, is that right?
Yeah, we're moving to Shopify next month. Currently on WordPress. Yeah. And the reason behind that was literally just to take I suppose the noise out of online shopping that we might have now, that's not needed for the customers that we're targeting, and offer them that kind of personalized journey through a really, really easy interface and get to check out as quickly as possible without any pain points.
Yeah, and just to tie that back then to I suppose how Shopbox differs is something that we're doing right now with you is we're implementing on that new platform. It's simple as just inserting a script, which we've done essentially now. We're just waiting for you guys to push it live whenever you guys are ready to do so. And I think something that we pride ourselves in is this frictionless nature of our accessibility maybe to AI. So maybe Anand, you can talk on how the market is, the current friction there is in the market to use AI,
Yeah. I guess Tracey, we probably started talking back in October, wasn't it? Early October, late September. And you went live sometime in November, wasn't it? Early November?
Mid-November, I think we were live. Yeah.
So, and that's like that was the ultimate design goal for us from the very start, was just take all the friction out. As I always say to people, like I've never met a retailer that needs more work, so we got to try and make it as easy as possible, because it's just an extremely difficult thing to do, to try and keep up with technology, and there's so much stuff that needs to be done, and the technology should just work. So for us, it was really about, we got to have something that we can just switch on. No retailer should have to learn AI. Like, we're all using ChatGPT. We don't learn it, we just use it. So it's exactly the same thing. We just want to be able to switch on and then react as the store evolves, as you add new products on, as you move products around, as you change categories, as you change advertising. We should just react to all that. You shouldn't have to spend time in our system. Really, Shopify, as you're moving to, becomes the center of your universe, and we just sit on top of that. That's a really important thing for us.
Yeah, and it's definitely been like that. We implemented Shopbox at probably one of the busiest times businesses can implement, is just before Black Friday, which we pulled out of, and we won't be taking part in Black Friday anymore, just to align with the values of overconsumption. So to have something there, in place was really important, and it came at the right time.
Yeah, and speaking further on the accessibility of our solution, there's a piece of work we did with you guys on your outlet page, which I think is the equivalent of like a clearance page you might have. If people want to take a look, I think it's Foxford/outlet, is that right, Tracey? But we did a piece of work there with your agency, just to customize essentially the presentation of our solution. So what we've done in the back is open up our solution, the front end of it, to customization to match that brand that you have on the site. So if people want to take a look, it's there. There's some good stuff. Lots of throws that I'm looking at right now that I want to decorate my new place with. So
Mark, you're not meant to be shopping when you're running a webinar.
I know. Just one
shop,
second.
Mark,
shop. So yeah, look, I suppose that wraps around then to the importance of your brand, which we were talking about earlier. The years that you've been in operation and business, and there's something that we're doing with you right now around, we call internally the personal page. You might be able to touch on, elaborate. What's your view on that, and what you aim to achieve with this, Tracey?
This was really interesting when you guys floated it. Really, really interesting. Actually, I worked on the page today. Cool. So I was on the grid builder today, kind of using our imagery, and It's so easy to use. So basically, I mean, the ethos behind it is it's a personal page for the shopper. So when they go on, you know, especially after a couple of times, this will be a completely curated, personalized page that they will see with product only they will want to see, and that they've shopped before, that they have viewed before, that is in line with, you know, their favorites, what they're in the wish list. And it's definitely something, it's something very simple that's been made very complicated in the past. I know I've had companies come to me about creating personalized pages, and it was just made very difficult. And I have to say, because I literally just built the page today, it's so easy. It's so easy to do, you know, and it sits into the website as well. It doesn't kind of scream this is a completely different platform.
Yeah, exactly. It's that kind of frictionless loyalty as well. There's no sign up. It's just there for anyone who's revisiting the site. So incentivizes people to come back and see how their recommendations are changing over time as well. The more they browse through your amazing catalog. Excellent. Yeah, I think actually also we have a version of that live with the customer. Alan, you might speak on that.
Well, I'm really glad you like it, Tracy. We love it. And we're really proud of it. We've only just started really rolling it out. I think the first customer went live with it 2 weeks ago. So we're just trying to get everybody on it as quickly as possible. But I think it's, for me, it's really important because I go back to before we even started Shopbox. I always had this thing in the back of my mind about creating a store within a store for each customer. So when they land, they feel it's their store. And I know it's your store, but I want them to feel it's their store. And we've put a lot of work into trying to figure out as how do we do that for 100% of customers, rather than, you know, loyalty systems they're big and they're heavy to implement, and it's a never-ending job. But then you have the friction. People have to sign up and they have to log on every time, and if you don't remember your login, then you don't bother logging in and you just move on. Whereas we have this concept of, well, actually, loyalty shouldn't be about rewarding people. It should be about bringing them on the journey. You know, rewarding to me seems like, well done, you've already been good to us. We should be saying, hey, look how good we can be for you. So I just love that idea of that personal place in the store for each customer.
Yeah. So question for you, just moving on to, I suppose, the brass tacks things, Tracy. What real metrics are you looking at as a retailer? You know.
Well, right now it's obviously online conversion, average order value, and one of the newest ones we've been looking at over the last year is the customer lifetime value, which is really, really important, especially since data has just changed so much, and the way we capture data. It's really important now that when we have the customer, we know as much as we can know about them, that we, as Alan says, reward them or look after them as best we can. And they will be our KPIs.
Yeah, exactly. So Shopbox, typically, you can see it in our case study. If you guys want to take a look at it there, some of the good uplift just as you touched on, Tracy, some of those figures and the uplift we have there. So question for you, Alan, is how can other retailers leverage AI then to overcome those obstacles and to get those uplift numbers up?
I think Tracy's kind of summarized it. Really is, we've worked very hard to say, how do we not simplify the AI. The AI has to be extremely deep, but simplify the process of using it. Because, you know, I've seen it I've been in this industry a long time, and I've seen so many projects that people work and work and work, and there's a lot of risk, and there's relatively mediocre returns at the end. You still get an uplift, but because people are doing it for the first time all the time, they don't know the pitfalls, so they don't even know they've fallen into some of them. And that's why we kind of looked and went, no, we need to be absolute experts in where in the shopping journey we can help people. And every time we learn something, every retailer needs to benefit from that instantly. They shouldn't have to think about it. We should be coming back. And obviously, Mark, you're on the customer success side. You're talking to customers all the time. That's a really important part of what we do, is going back to every retailer saying, we've tried this somewhere else. It really works. We want to switch it on for you. And actually, the personal shopping page is exactly that. That came as an idea from a customer in the UK, Kit Locker, who we'll be talking to fairly soon. And they just said, could you do this? And we went, this is what we were thinking about ages ago, you've kind of given us the example of what it could look like. Let's go and do it. So that's really important to us. So everyone gets to benefit from it without any effort, or well, with some effort. But as you said, Tracey, the grid builder is designed to be used, is designed to be very simple for somebody to use. And the whole power of it is that the AI is doing its work under the covers. So everything for us is about make it really easy to implement, quick drop in, and off you go. And then our jobs do the hard work and the heavy lifting on the back end.
Exactly. So to kind of conscious of time, so I'm going to not go too quickly here, but I want to just get some of Tracey's feedback here. So any tips, Tracey, that you can provide the retailers, other retailers who are looking to improve their online stores performance?
I would do a roadmap basically and see where your priority lies and where are the major pinpoints, because we can all say this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, we want to do this, but you know, it's no good in doing something, you know, half job on everything. Prioritize what your pain points are. Prioritize, you know, what your customers want, what maybe the sticking points is in their journey, the bottlenecks, and you know, see if it can be fixed with tech, AI, or whatever it is. Communication definitely between all departments is a major factor as well. So I'd be in marketing. It's especially important to communicate with customer service in my end, you know, because the two are intrinsically linked. Again, out in retail, it's so important because, you know, what we're hearing online from customers, is it the same as what they're hearing in retail? What's missing there? What are we missing? What should we be hearing that we're not? So I think communication is really important for your online. And just have a really strong external as well as internal team. So whether that's your developers, whether it's, you know, the guys in Shopbox or whatever other services that you have, just make sure they're, you know, best in class, really.
Yeah, my next question actually was on that. It's what's the most important things, I suppose, that retailers should keep in mind when implementing new tech. And I think you answered there, to make sure you're approaching the best in class, things that are frictionless, which we talked about earlier, you know, because you guys have enough to deal with on your side, than to have constant calls about implementing new tech. So how can retailers ensure that they're providing a personalized experience that truly resonates with the customers? I think we touched on it there, but the brand that you guys have.
Yeah, it's especially important for the likes of Foxford. Our brand it's so unique, and it's, you know, it's very special. And I think to evolve in a digital personalization 130 years later is just as important as it was when our founders, Mother Agnes, opened the doors back in 1892. What the difference is now, I suppose, is we're working with data, whatever you want to call it, and it's really important that that data is very relevant, you know, and it makes sense. And look, if you're not providing the best customer personalized experience, you'll know about it. You know, your KPIs will reflect it.
Yep. So, forward thinking, plans for the future. What new features? This one's for you, Alan. What new features are solutions is Shopbox AI working on at the moment for the future?
We only just do the personal home or the personal shopping page, but anyway, we're kind of moving on fairly quickly. So I guess you alluded to a couple of things there that Foxford were actually ahead of the game on. One was the idea of having curated content in a product listing page. So at the moment in the outlet page, we're looking to put that across the site. So no matter where somebody is on the site, there's always curation. So we're trying to balance what the customer is interested in with what we need to try and display. Because at the end of the day, the retailer has goals, the customer has needs, and we're trying to bring those two things together. So no matter where you go on the site, there's always curated content that's bringing you deeper into what you're looking at, and reminding you of stuff that you may have forgotten about, because a lot of people look at a lot of products and look across different categories. And I always think a lot of what we're trying to do is not to make the current sale, it's to expand and to start thinking about the bigger picture for the customer. So sometimes they want one product. What we find is the number of times people are actually looking for a few things to put together is way, way higher. And we see that nearly instantly. Once you start allowing people to stumble across interesting things, they go that direction. We're doing some really interesting work on it from an AI perspective right now. So we're doing some work on, which I'm not going to go into any detail, but it allows us to deal with retailers of infinite complexity. So the larger number of SKUs you have, the larger number of price points and everything else, it becomes a bigger problem for AI. We've kind of broken the back of that, so we're going to be doing some really interesting stuff on that in the next couple of months. The other areas that we have on the short-term roadmap is integration into a lot of different other systems. So we want that real-time information that's been gathered all the time around customers and kept within the store. We're not, it doesn't leak outside of the store, but we want it to be used by other parts. So we want chat to be able to understand the context of a customer, so that somebody on the end of a chat actually can have a much more intelligent conversation, informed conversation with the customer. We want email to be hyper-personalized. I don't see why any two people should receive the same email. Congratulations, you bought the product. Here's the next thing for you. It should be something for you, not something that a merchandiser decided everyone should get. So they're the areas we're really spending a lot of time right now, a lot more depth, and then get out into loads more touch points for the customer.
Excellent, guys. So a question for you on the same topic, Tracey, just to wrap things up close. Yeah, we're close on time here. How does Foxford then plan to continue to use AI to improve the business in the coming years? I know ChatGPT's in the zeitgeist at the moment. Have you considered making content with that, or with ourselves, or you can elaborate?
Yeah, definitely. I think I remember writing a marketing strategy well before COVID, and these two letters were all throughout, and I was like, I can never see me actually doing this. And here we are with AI. We had a little bit with our chatbot, but this is big time with Shopbox. So going forward, for sure, would love to see AI being used for predicting trends, and even more, as Alan said about the email, would love to see a highly personalized email software. Yeah. That's our email subscribers love their email, so it'd be fantastic to be able to do that. To be able to send curated content to each and every person would be amazing. Would be stuff of dreams, but here we are with a personalized page. So
yeah, we're close.
Make your dreams come true in 2 or 3 months.
Excellent, guys. So I have sorry, I'm going to just wrap up if you can now. So how can viewers get in touch with you guys? I think actually there's a panelist PDF. If anyone's watching this at the moment, there's a panelist PDF, so they can contact either Tracey or Alan there. Okay, so there's also a question in the chat here. I'm just going to address it to you guys. So Alan, this one will be for you. So how much effort was, this is for both of you. How much effort was involved in the implementation of Shopbox on Foxford? So maybe more towards you, Tracey.
Effort from my part was linking my developers up to UMark, and that was it. It was signing off on the design, which happened very, very, very fast. It was no effort, really, to be honest with you. Zero. Yeah.
Good.
So easy.
Great.
It really was. It's very fast and very slick, and yeah, it's probably the first time I've had that from a company. As I say, I only met Alan very late September, and we were live, mid-November, and everything was good to go from then. There was no issues.
Yeah, that's great to hear. That's what it should be.
Yeah, that's our mission goal, certainly from our perspective here in customer success. We try to make it as clean as possible, and our product team, we try to make it just hands off for you guys, just set and forget, essentially. Okay, so one more question here. What kind of uplift did Shopbox provide? This is for you, Tracey.
What we're seeing at the minute is in around 15%, which is amazing. 15% more people online, 40% increase in the basket value, and our conversion rate has increased by about 2.5%. Now, if you're going back to last November and December, obviously the numbers were amazing, but now that they've kind of calmed down since January. We're seeing an uplift across all KPIs, more so in the average basket. You know, the basket values increase, but that's going to increase because they're being made aware of all these complementary products.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's more PDPs are landing on, more time spent on the site as well. These are metrics that they're not often included, but it shows the power of our tool. It's guiding the customer along to more relevant products that are for them, and they're spending more time on your site doing so. So excellent. I think that's it, folks. Unless there's any other questions here in the chat box, just want to make sure I'm not missing anybody. No, wonderful, and right on time. So for all the viewers that are still there, thank you very much for taking part. I hope you had some of your own questions answered, and you can always follow up. As I said, there's a panelist details PDF here, so you can arrange a call with Alan, or if you want to speak to Tracey as well, their details are there. Cool, excellent. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.